Okay, in the ultimate form of multitasking here, I'm going to try to record something while it's fresh in my head, in a question that I heard on a podcast earlier today on my way to an event. Now I'm on my way home from the event, and the question is, would Graham Mertz have succeeded if he stayed in the new Wisconsin offense? Now, would we have seen the same level of quarterback play we saw from him in the past? Would he have been as good as Tanner Mordecai, etc.? I'll first say this. I have always probably been a Graham Mertz fan / apologist. I think skill set wise, he is the best quarterback we've had outside of Russell Wilson. And I don't think anybody questions that. And I think his biggest problem he had with Wisconsin was exactly that. He was the most talented quarterback we've had since Russell Wilson. So there was built-in hype, there was built-in expectation, but then you have the subset of fans who don't want to see anything other than the usual succeed. They're the same fans who, as soon as the Badgers didn't score on their opening drive against Buffalo, are calling to fire Luke Fickell, fire Phil Longo. So there's plenty of fans of Wisconsin who didn't want him to succeed. And when he didn't, that fed into the criticism. Well, of course, Mertz is different. And his attitude is the reason why he lost games. And that's going to build on what we're going to talk about next, is Graham Mertz was confident, and he was also the first person that would come out and take blame for his mistakes. Always got out in front of the media. Always said what was on his mind. He always was the first one to take blame and the first one to deflect praise. But he was confident in himself, because you should be. Quarterback leads by example, and that attitude is infectious. And it's why players these days want to play for coaches who have the same mindset. They don't want to play with coaches or teammates who already have a defeatist attitude. So Luke Fickell comes out and says that he wants to win a championship. He should. The goal at Wisconsin football should not be to appear in the Citrus Bowl, or to win the Music City Bowl, or to win the Pinstripe Bowl. It should be to win a championship. And that's a mentality that you had to have. And that's a mentality Graham Mertz had. And it didn't work out. And there's a lot of factors into why it didn't work out. I think first and foremost, Paul Chryst didn't develop them. He didn't build the offense around Graham Mertz's skill set. He built the offense the way that it had been built since the Barry Alvarez days. And when you have a dynamic quarterback and he shows dynamic skills, and then you stop doing it and run the exact opposite, what are you expecting? Again, I will point out, and this will be a video that I'll be doing on my Rewind series sooner rather than later, is look at Graham Mertz against Illinois week 1 of the 2020 season. Look at the game plan that they ran. Okay, they spread Illinois out more than Wisconsin normally does. They went more quick pass than Wisconsin normally does. They got the ball out in space. And it worked. It's 20 for 21 with 5 touchdowns against a Big Ten team. That's no accident. And then what happened? COVID happened. And unfortunately, there was injuries in the receiving corps. And this is a knack I've always had on Chris, is he never trusted young guys unless he was forced to. And I think part of the reason why Graham Mertz played when he did was he was forced to. But when it comes to his receiving corps and maybe the offensive line, when they lost Danny Davis, when the depth at the receiver went down, what'd they do? They just came out, ran 13 personnel, power package, play action, stopped taking shots, or only took shots when everybody in the world knew they were going to, so nobody bid on the play action fake, and then they sent 2 guys in a route, 3 guys in a route, and the defense knew to drop 7. How do you expect someone to succeed when you set them up for failure? And that's what they did. I'm sorry, I've had the same criticism of Paul Chryst since he was an offensive coordinator. And everyone will go back and say with Paul Chryst, is like, oh, well, look at the records he broke. Sure, he broke the records against really bad Indiana teams and really bad Northwestern teams and non-conference teams. But look at them against teams that he should have beaten, or top 25 teams, top 10 teams. Those records don't exist. So, sure, his offense was great. He had no balls. He wasn't willing to try things new. He wasn't really willing to take shots. He was a game manager at the offensive coordinator, head coach position. And the thing with game managers is either they're super consistent, good but not great, or when you force the game manager to be a winner, you lose that. You lose it every time because you're not set up that way. And that's exactly what they did. And that's what they did to Graham Mertz. His play calling was stale. His situational play calling was predictive. And because of that, you set your good quarterback up to fail. And when he fails, everyone puts the blame on him, and you force him to try too hard. Because you make him think, oh, hey, I'm doing everything I can, but that's not good enough, so I have to try harder. When maybe we could help him with play calling. Maybe we can help him with personnel. Maybe we can help him by playing the game within his skill set, which is something that they just did not do. So that leads to the ultimate question is, would Graham Mertz's skill set fit in the Phil Longo offense? I mean, the obvious answer is yes. I mean, we'll look at his film in high school and as a starting point, and they opened up the field. They spread the teams out. He was a pro-style passer in a pro-spread offense. Okay, I'm sure if I go back and watch his high school film, I'm sure we'll see plenty of air raid concepts. But what the air raid does, what Phil Longo is trying to do, is he's trying to put athletes in space. Okay? As long as he trusts the athlete, he'll put him in space. And you're seeing right now that the tight end room had injuries. So what do? They put in the freshman. And the freshman's playing. And he's playing well. Instead of, oh, well, can't use him. Let's change up the offense. Or let's dial things back. No. Tucker Ashcraft is running everything Hayden Rucci is. Okay? And he's maybe running the routes a little bit better and he's blocking a little bit worse, but there's a nice balance. We know what kind of player we have in him. That kind of confidence is what I wish we would have seen during the Paul Chryst year. So Phil Longo would let Graham Mertz be Graham Mertz. And he would play to his skill set, and he would play to his talents. And he would be taking shots. And he'd be moving around in the pocket a little bit. And he'd be creating plays. Because when Graham Mertz was cooking, he would cook. And I think Phil Longo would have allowed him to cook. So absolutely he could have succeeded in this offense. However, I 1000% agree with him wanting to transfer and transfer when he did. Because one hard thing that you can have is, as a senior, to try to pick up a new system and a new style of play in your last year on campus. That's hard to do. So I think he took the smart idea and went into a program at Florida with key people in key spots, running a system that is not exactly like the old school Wisconsin system, but there are enough similarities. I also think he went into a situation with a quarterback coach and a head coach he would have been confident in, and a system that was confident in him. That's why he's a starter, and that's why he's succeeding in Florida. And I'm very happy for him. And I can't wait if we end up playing them in the Citrus Bowl, and if he lights us up. That'd be sweet retribution for him. Because he took a lot of crap in his time at Wisconsin, a lot of crap that he didn't deserve. And it comes with the territory of being the heir to the throne that only one man has sat on. But he's proving he's a good quarterback, and he could have been even better while he was here. So that's my thoughts on Graham Mertz. And yes, absolutely, he succeeds in this offense. Absolutely, he puts up yards. I absolutely think Tanner Mordecai is the right guy for the job, though. And I'm happy with where we turned. Because the difference here is you get a quarterback who's comfortable with the system, so the learning curve's quicker. Okay? And he has something to prove. That's why he came back. So that's how I see it. I wish Graham Mertz nothing but the best. Wish it could have worked out here. Wish the fans could have appreciated him more. And I hope he continues to do great at Florida. I hope he gets a chance at least to get into training camp at the next level, because he's got the skill set and he's got the moxie of an NFL quarterback. A lot of things he's got to fix in his game besides that, but I've always liked the kid. So on to Rutgers, moving forward, and let's see how the rest of this year goes with Tanner Mordecai.